About something, and I didn't think I was like mad, so I couldn't really do a rant about it, and it wasn't enough news to do laser talk, so I just wanted to talk about this. I saw on MovieWeb.com, that's where I get most of my movie and superhero movie information from. On MovieWeb.com, they're saying that DC is trying to put together a Justice League movie, and that a Batman reboot would spin off after the Justice League movie. Now, the thought of rebooting Batman, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen. I mean, the Batman franchise is big money bucks, so Warner Brothers not gonna let go of that and just let it die. And not only that, come on, we want to see Batman in more movies. However, that being said, I just don't want it to be a rinse rather repeat, scenario. Have some really epic Christopher Nolan movies, have some cheesy movies, or just redo everything and make it just slightly different. If they're going to reboot Batman, they need to try to separate themselves as far away from the Christopher Nolan franchise and the Tim Burton and Schumacher, as far away from the Schumacher franchise as possible. They're going to have to distance themselves and try to make themselves something new. And this is sort of my ideas, which I think would help. First thing, obvious, but something I think worth talking about. You need to have superpowers. Batman, of course, doesn't have superpowers. Like, that would be stupid to give Batman superpowers. But we need superpowered villains. Because we've seen Joker, we've seen Two-Face, we've seen Ra's al Ghul, we've even seen Bane. We need some superpowered villains. And I think everyone can agree, yes everyone, thank you for all raising your hands, we've needed a good portrayal of Mr. Freeze. And you know what? I'm just throwing this out there, get Paul Dini to help write the script. Because he knows how to handle Mr. Freeze really well. But my point is that we need some superpowered villains. So we don't want the super realistic. Because honestly, Christopher Nolan did that so well. It's just I don't want people to try to do what he did. Because whenever you're making your own creation but you're trying to do what somebody else did, you're forgetting that when they were doing what they did, they were trying as hard as possible to separate themselves from anybody else. And that's what made it unique. If we see someone trying to do a Christopher Nolan clone Batman movie, it's not gonna be worth it. No. So first point, superpowers. We need superpowered villains in a heightened reality where that can exist. Point number 2. This is gonna be another one that is kind of an obvious one. No origin. Okay? Because Batman Begins handled Batman's origin perfectly. We don't need to start at the beginning. We don't even need to start with his first days. We can start a year into Gotham City. Like, take a look at Spectacular Spider-Man, the animated series. They started, Spider-Man's been Spider-Man for a full summer at this point. A full summer, and yet he's still kind of urban myth. Like no one's getting pictures of him. It's only after when people start actually seeing him out in public more when he becomes a bigger figure. Why can't that be the same with Batman? Why can't he be more of a hidden figure, Someone that's hidden and not so much out there. So I think that definitely don't retell the origin. I mean, if you look at The Amazing Spider-Man, they had merits to retelling Spider-Man's origin, even though it's already been done. Because the original Spider-Man was more of a heightened reality, more the movie world-esque, where, he holds his uncle's hand when he dies. And that wasn't the tone that they were going for. They were going for the more realistic, brutal, life's tough sort of thing. And you know what? And I think that it merited retelling the origin. The reasons were good enough to retell the origin. We don't need another origin of Batman, okay? And I'm not saying I want him exactly like he is in Batman, the 1989 version, either. I'm just saying I don't want to see him starting out. Maybe you could have flashbacks, whatever. I just don't want the whole story. So if you're rebooting Batman, don't tell the origin again. Point number 3. Now this one, some people might not agree with. Some people might say, yeah. But this one, we need Robin. And not just Robin. I don't want Robin just in here. I want this to be dual protagonists. I don't want it to be Batman with Robin in there. No. I want this to be about Batman and Robin. That means I want Robin to have just as much character depth and plot as Batman. We need to see what Robin's going through and not just glance over it and include it in Batman's story. No, it needs to be Batman's story. If you look at Batman Forever and how they handled Robin, it was just Batman against it was Batman against Two-Face and Riddler, and Robin tagged along and came in and joined the team. That cannot happen, okay? We need to have it be about Batman getting Robin, okay? I'm serious, guys. It can't be Robin just there. Robin needs to be a dual protagonist. Think about this, guys. If we need Robin in the story, we want him to be believable and a strong character, and not just thrown in for good measure. He needs this. If they reboot Batman, it needs to be Robin, and it needs to be about Robin just as much as it is Batman. Okay, Robin's not his sidekick; he's his partner. That's what this movie needs. The reboot will need, if it has Robin. It needs to be about Robin and Batman. That's the thing that Christopher Nolan couldn't give us. Say what you want about Joseph Gordon-Levitt. No. Christopher Nolan couldn't give us the Bat Family. And I'm not saying that after Robin, the next film they get Batgirl, and the next film they get Huntress, and then Robin becomes Nightwing in the next film or whatever. I'm not saying that. But the only thing that Christopher Nolan's Batman franchise couldn't give us about Batman, it could give us the origin, it could give us the Joker, it could even give us Two-Face, it could give us Gotham, it could give us almost every quality about Batman, but superpowers and Robin. And so I think the movies needs to be about Batman and Robin. That's the only way it's going to come across as something new and something different and something that can just be just as good. And you know what? I don't think people realize that Robin and superpowers can be handled seriously. They can. You need an example? Arkham City. Okay? Like, let me just say, in my mind, the story for Arkham City is superior to the story of The Dark Knight Rises. I'm not joking. Like, I like The Dark Knight Rises, but the story of Arkham City, that had me on the edge of my seat, that had me guessing, it kept me clueless, and it got me hooked into the world. And I know video games have a big advantage of that, but if it was just the story, I think it stands better than Arkham City stands better than Dark Knight Rises. And if you look at that, they handled the superpowers and the supporting characters so seriously. And so well. You know what? I think if you're going to... I think those are some of the qualities that you're going to need if you're going to reboot the Batman franchise. To make it feel different and new and something that people are going to want to see. Now, I think that people, when they think Robin, at least the people that are making these stuff, they think Robin, that's automatically, no, nobody's going to see it with Robin in it. I'm telling you, people are going to see it if Robin's in it. In fact, they will see that you're taking something and changing it and making it. For one thing, I don't really want to say this, but it's going to feel like the Batman movies are getting lighter, but that doesn't necessarily need to be the case. As I said with Arkham City, that's not a light story, and it has sidekicks, and it has superpowers, and it has a man with a hat that has you looking like a bunny. So, if that can do it in a video game, you can do it in a movie. It can be done. So if you were to ask me what villain I would want, I know I said there could be superpowers. And maybe there could be for the start, but the big thing with Dick Grayson as Robin almost has a nemesis against Two-Face. You know? I mean, like, let's just say in the story Robin Year One, Two-Face beats Robin half to death with a baseball bat. And there's this really funny comic strip called Batman and His Sons. I'm not sure if it's still around, but I remember a scene where it's basically about Batman and all of his sidekicks who are with him, and they're kind of like his kids. And so Jason Todd is like the rebellious one, and you know, and all that. And there's a point where Dick Grayson's like teasing Jason Todd. He's like, "Joker, Joker, Joker! Are you afraid of the Joker? The Joker?" And it's kind of funny because Jason Todd was killed by the Joker. and then Jason Todd's like, "Stop it, stop it!" And Dick Grayson's like, "Joker, Joker!" And Batman goes behind him and says, "Two-Face!" And he's like, "Ah!" You know, like, okay, I don't know why I brought that up. I thought that was funny. But I'm thinking, I would like to see Two-Face as the main villain throughout the whole movie. But you know what? Mr. Freeze needs a good movie. Heck, even Poison Ivy. There's a lot of other Batman villains to choose from. And if you're going to reboot the Batman franchise, I just want to see something different. Thank you very much.
Be sure to check out more of my other videos on my channel, and wait for more coming soon.